Hey guys, Adam here, and today I'm going to dive into a accordion design using GenerateBlocks accordion block and mimic it off of a similar accordion I found on the Wave Apps website. So keep in mind, I have not already tried and tested the build of this accordion. I'm going to go through it with you for the first time, so bear with me as we might have some hiccups, but sometimes you learn a thing or two that way. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so I've imported a template from the GeneratePress site library. This is the site we're going to go ahead and use for the demo purposes. And the accordion I'm looking at is this layout here where you have a headline on the left and the accordion on the right. And just felt like this was a fairly simple accordion, but also done pretty well. So it's easy to read, easy to follow. So let's go ahead and dive in and see what we can do to mimic the same style. So I'll go ahead and hit edit page. And I want to add it to this home page design more towards the bottom below why choose us. So I'm going to open up the outline here and I wanted to create a new container at the bottom. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and move this container up a section so that it's not at the bottom of my screen there. You can see it a little better. And let's go ahead and move my face over here. All right. So I'm going to insert a inner container. And let's go ahead and add some padding. We'll do 60, 20, 20, 60. And then I'm going to use the grid block. And I think based on this, looks like maybe about 1/3, 2/3. So we can roughly choose this one. We'll have to adjust it based on that in the sizing. Block settings, you can go to 33%. You can also come down here to the sizing and just change the width yourself. Either one works exactly the same. And then the second container, we're going to hit 66%. So back to our grid block. Let's go ahead and add quite a bit of horizontal gap because there's a pretty large gap here, which of course is due to some text wrap, but let's start with 60 and see how that goes. By default, let's go ahead and do some 40 pixel vertical gap. And we'll go ahead and insert a headline. Say jumping down. Frequently asked questions. It looks like since just based on the formatting, we've already got, need a little bit more. Let's even go to 100 pixel horizontal gap. Still not quite enough. Trying to push those onto the next line. That ain't working. So let's just go back down to 80. Should be fine. We don't need to mimic it exactly to be that way, right, with the text wrap. So we can come back here and let's go ahead and insert a accordion. And as I'm doing this, I'm figuring out that actually the accordion block is part of GenerateBlocks Pro. So let's go ahead and bear with me while I go install it real quick. Okay, I'm back. I installed GenerateBlocks Pro, which, by the way, I highly recommend. I think it's very affordable, very much worth it, the cost. So for this demonstration, and as you can see, the accordion block is part of the Pro version, so you will need that. So we'll go ahead and jump back in here, type ACC for the accordion block, and it's going to prompt up with some instructions here how to add an accordion item. So we're going to say okay. First off, we're going to go ahead and come down to colors. Let's see. Oh, we'll jump into the title. Let's see what we got. So we'll just use this as our dummy copy. which by the way, I'm no way affiliated with Wave, simply just using their website and their design for this demo. So we'll use that, and then the content, we'll just go ahead and copy that. All right, so need to fix the spacing here, eliminate that. So our copy is in, and our title. So this is our first accordion. Now, of course, this is the default styling with GenerateBlocks, and we wanted to style it a little bit differently to, closely mimic the same style of design what Wave did with theirs. So first thing I noticed is the background. Let's check it out. All right, so background here is set to white. We're gonna clear that out. Hover and active, I believe, is this last one. Current. So we have normal, hover, and current. So the current tab you can specify the background color for it. We're gonna clear that out because on waves, we are always going to be transparent. It's just showing the background color of that section. So we're gonna make that transparent. Text is the same. We do want this one to be a little bit bigger, so let's go ahead and make that font size up to 20. Let's go font weight bold, and let's go semi-bold. A little bit hard to read on bold there. Okay, so next we can look at the content. So jump into the container of the content. You can always know by the blue highlight around the box of the container that you're selected. So we'll select that one, come on down, the background is selected. We're gonna clear that out to be clear. Again, we don't want any background colors. So that's the basics. Again, we've stripped out the background colors, but now next we need to change out this icon. We have an arrow, but they use more of a circle with a plus and a minus on hover. So let's see how we could change that. Here we go. So accordion, they have a couple set of icons that you could choose from, or you can insert your own. And I'm not really sure exactly how you swap that for open and close, but let's come to phosphor icons and see if we can find a similar icon to wave. It looks like this one's perfect. So let's just copy that SVG, jump back over, and let's see what happens when we drop that in. Oop, it is way too small. So let's say 1.2. It's a little bit better. Still wondering how you could change that on once it's open. I'm not exactly sure. It looks like there's a set of SVGs that you can create. I personally have never done that before. Let me do some quick research. I'll jump right back. Okay, so I was able to do a quick search and find the documentation from GenerateBlocks on how to create the open and closed SVG code so that you can have separate icons. So pretty cool. Let's go ahead and give it a shot and see how it goes. Again, bear with me. I'm doing this for the first time on the fly, so hopefully we can both learn something. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and insert a HTML block in here just for the purposes of creating this SVG. We just went in and copied this SVG, so let's go ahead and paste that one in. And what happens is it says, here's your SVG. Since it has a class, we need to add the GB accordion icon class to it. All right, so we can come in here. Doesn't look like our SVG from Phosphor has a class. So I'm gonna come in here before with, put class equals, and paste that in. Now the open state icon, we want that to be the circle with a minus. So let's say minus circle, copy that SVG. It says pretty much same exact thing, except we need GB accordion icon open class. So paste this below, to come in, grab the open class, copy it, and we'll come here, say class equals, paste in our class, close out the quotes, and that's it. Now it says combine the SVG HTML. I want to say I just take what we created and paste it in. Let's give it a try, see what happens. Hope for the best. Boom, it worked. That was awesome. Okay, pretty easy. Sweet. Kudos to GenerateBlocks for the documentation. Worked great. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete out my HTML block we created there, as we no longer need it. We got it working. So, all right. Next I'm gonna go ahead and add another accordion item. It's gonna be our second one in the block. And as you can see now, this one's open, this one's closed. Our icons are working perfect. All right, so we'll go ahead and grab, what's the catch? All right, let's grab the copy. All right, delete out this block. Perfect, let's go ahead and add the rest of them here. I'm gonna go ahead and do this and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. All I did was repeat the process for adding in the rest of those accordion items. So you can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions, and Wave has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so we got them in. We can go ahead and update, and let's just go check it out as it is right now. Okay, well, that's interesting. So this theme is actually pulling in some default colors, looks like for these buttons, accordion items. So we'll have to kind of override that, see if we can't change it on our end. All right, so more than likely these colors are pulled in for the global colors in the GeneratePress theme. So to double check that, we can jump into the customizer, go to colors, and there's a toggle here for buttons. And sure enough, you'll see the buttons background set to yellow, and then this orangish red on hover. So that's where those are pulling in by default. We'll want to see if we can override that. So let's jump out, come back in, and let's see if we go ahead and add a background color. We instead say white, and just say white on all of them, because for this case, instead of it being transparent, our background is white anyway. So if we choose a color that matches our background, hopefully it'll match. So let's go ahead and hit update, come in and refresh, and yep, now they're all white. Awesome, perfect. Okay, so really the last touch to this is, I think, adding a little bit of padding in between these, and then adding these divider lines. And so the divider lines is going to be a bottom border, and the padding is just going to be the padding on the main title. So first we can select that title, and again, when you do it to the first one, it should repeat it for the remaining. So let's go ahead and say 25 on top and 25 on bottom. And then we can say border, oop, pass it up, nope. Oh, there it is, just above typography. All right, so we go to bottom border, and we could just say 1 pixel, and there you go, you can already see it. I'm gonna go ahead and change out the color to, let's go with a lighter gray color. Actually, I think it's more subtle. If you can see on Wave, they have a much more subtle color as well. And actually, let's see what color their icons are. Their icons the same as their text. Okay, those work. All right, so hit update. Let's go check it out. Awesome. So there's our GenerateBlocks accordion. I think overall we achieved it pretty closely to the Wave website. I think it functions great. Let's see. I do believe there is a setting because you can see by default when we refresh this page, the first one is open. I believe that there is a way that we can make it closed. If we come out to the accordion block, make sure you have the accordion block selected, and you can see you can enable to keep multiple items open, which actually Wave does do, so I can open all of these at once. So we can go ahead and turn that on. Sync accordion item titles, that is what enabled all of them to match the first one when I was styling it, so that's obviously very handy. Slide works great. Button title, or title type is a button. So if we come to the accordion and you go to your first accordion item, in the block settings, the first setting right here, item open by default, we can shut that off because we want it closed. So let's go ahead and hit update, come back, refresh, perfect. And now you can also see each of those can be opened all at the same time. I would say maybe the last thing we could do is shorten up the bottom padding here on our content, just to make sure that it's not too tall. So we'll come to our paragraph and we can actually convert this to a headline because that'll allow us to control the bottom margin to 0, and then open up that container. As we can see, it's got 20 pixel padding all the way around, as well as a 20 pixel margin on the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and just remove that 20 pixel margin on the bottom, and I think that should cinch it up pretty good. Refresh. Yeah, perfect. Looks really good. Now let's go ahead and jump in to make sure, see what it looks like on mobile. So if we come to the mobile view, scroll on down, and there it is. We've got frequently asked questions. I think we can actually shorten up the vertical gap down to about 20, just to shorten the height here. And we could even lessen the font size for the titles. We can go down to 18 maybe, just to help that out a little bit. Same with body copy, you could probably shorten it. But overall, I'm really happy with the way this looks on mobile. Tablet also looks pretty good. It doesn't cram too much. The width is fine for readability. And there we go. So let's go ahead and update, come to our website once more, and it looks really good. All right, so I appreciate your patience as we walk through that accordion design together. I definitely learned a couple things. I think that the accordion icon set is a really cool feature and fairly easy to set up, especially if you have your SVG code ready to go. I would definitely say that the accordion block out of the box is really powerful and easy to use. So and with a couple of quick searches, I was able to figure out a few of those details, and I hope you learned a thing or two along the way too. Thanks for following along.